Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Adidas AE1. So this is of course Anthony Edwards' first signature shoe with Adidas, and it looks awesome. A lot of people like it, and honestly I agree. I feel like this shoe looks great. So if you guys do want to cop, try to leave in the affiliate link in the description box. It is retailing for 120 bucks, which I think is a pretty good price, especially for the tech and also for a first signature shoe. But anyways, let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. In this colorway, we have like a semi-translucent outsole, and it's in a large herringbone traction pattern. So we have pretty much like a V shape going throughout the entire outsole. And how does the traction perform? It performs extremely well. It's freaking amazing, guys. So if you're playing on a clean court, you're gonna have an amazing time, right? It has awesome stops. You stop pretty much on a dime. You stop instantaneously, and you don't have to break it in. It's good pretty much right out the box. So yeah, I love that about the AE1. It feels really good when you're playing on a clean court. How does it perform on dust? It performs exceptionally well on dust as well, right? So I've been playing with this shoe on a very clean, very humid court, right? It was raining a couple of weeks ago when it was around Christmas time, and then it's been getting dry, or it's been pretty dang dry, and it's been pretty dusty out on the courts as of recently. And I've been playing in like the AC12 and also some other shoes that I'm testing, and some of those shoes have been picking up a little bit of dust, and picking up a little bit more dust than the AE1. The AE1 definitely was still picking up a little bit of dust, but it was performing a lot better than those shoes, right? So it bites through dust really well, even on those really dirty courts. And I was very surprised, right? And I really wanted to keep playing in the AE1s when it was a very dirty, very dusty setting. So even though it was picking up a little bit of dust, it was still biting through it very well. But then if I let a little bit too much dust pick up, I just did a very easy and slight wipe, and I was good to go again. I had amazing stops. So if you're playing on a dirty or a dusty court, you should be fine as well. And if you're playing on an outdoor court, however, it's probably not the best option, right? The rubber is pretty soft. The grooves, I guess, are very thin. The grooves are deep, however, so that's good, but a soft rubber and thin grooves probably not the best option for an outdoor court, so just be careful on that. But if you're playing on a clean court, this has top tier traction, and I love playing in the shoe because of that. So there's a traction there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, also very nice and very smooth. It has kind of like an explosive element to it, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice rounded, very nice curved shape, right? And it is pretty like caged here, so it feels a little clunky in the heel, but it's not terrible, right? And then in the forefoot, we have a very nice curve shape and a good amount of forefoot flex, right? But because of this plate, you guys can see this X-shaped plate right here through this translucent outsole. So it's like this red color, right? It's just plastic, and it has a little bit of rebound back. You know, it's mostly pretty flexible, but it has a nice little rebound back, and it feels really nice, especially when you're going off your first step and also doing heel dominant strides down the court. So that kind of like springiness gives you a little bit more of an explosive feel when you're doing those types of movements, which feels really nice. Obviously, it's not as good as like the Wild 10. You know, the Wild 10 has a full-length carbon fiber plate, which of course is a little bit springier than just this plastic, but it still feels pretty nice here in the AE1. So that feels great for heel to toe transition. And moving on to the cushioning setup, the cushioning setup is also really nice, right? So as far as the tech goes, it's a little confusing, right? So I checked on Foot Locker and stuff like that, and it says in the tech specs just boost, and they're saying it's jet boost, right? And then on Adidas, it's just saying boost. So they're using just boost and then light strike. And as far as the teardown goes, we saw Foot Doctor Zach do a teardown, which was dope, and he's saying that it's light strike and boost. We're not 100% sure, right? But as far as like the actual tech, it can be wrong, so I apologize for that, but I'm gonna tell you guys how it feels, and it feels freaking amazing, and it feels even better than the Harden Volume 7, right? So first of all, whatever foam that they're using, it feels really nice for underfoot cushion, right? So underfoot cushion and step-in comfort is absolutely amazing. So the insole, of course, they're just giving us a regular, really crappy patented Adidas insole, which isn't very nice. But underneath all of that, we can see there's a circle cut out here in the heel, which you can feel the boost really nice, very easily. And then around that, we have this kind of like textile material. So it's like nylon or polyester, but then when you press it with your finger, it's actually not that stiff. It's actually really soft, right? And I would say it feels very similar to just a very soft mesh stroke board, which feels great, right? So you can feel the boost right underneath your foot here in the heel and also in the forefoot. It gives you very nice step and comfort and also a very nice springiness, right? It has a little bit of bounce back right underneath your foot, which feels absolutely amazing as well. Core feels really good too. You feel very, very close to the ground, which feels awesome. As far as the impact protection goes, it's really good for how low to the ground you are, but of course it's not the best, right? So overall, like when I was doing hard impacts, like heel strikes here in the forefoot as well, my feet didn't hurt, but I definitely feel like it could have been a little bit better. You know, I mean, I'm obviously comparing it to shoes that have really good impact protection like the Zoom GT Jump, the AG4 and stuff like that, but the AE1 still has adequate impact protection in my personal opinion. So it's just an overall really good cushioning setup. The only thing I would want changed is the heel compression. So as you guys can see, this is all just plastic. This is all caging, and also here in the heel, like in the back of the heel, the rubber comes up to cage the rest of the cushion. And all of that, you don't really have a whole lot of compression from this part, like the outside of the shoe, which kind of sucks, you know what I mean? I like to have a little bit of compression there, but honestly, it's not a huge deal because of how good the step and comfort is. So it just does everything very well. It has a nice subtle bounce. Step and comfort underfoot cushioning is absolutely amazing. Impact protection is adequate. You have really good core feel, so it just checks off all the boxes for me for cushion, and I really like the cushioning setup. And in my personal opinion, it's an upgrade from the Harden Volume 7 as well. Whatever foam that they're using, it feels a little bit softer than the Boost and Lightstrike combination in the Harden Volume 7. And I'm excited about the Harden Volume 8 because it's supposed to be using Jet Boost as well, which I feel like it'll probably feel very similar to the AE1. So there's that. Moving on to the upper, right? So the upper is pretty hefty, and a lot of people, I feel like it or don't. It's a very polarizing, it's a very black and white upper, I feel like, you know? So if you don't like holes, obviously you won't like it. But honestly, I like it. You know, it has this hexagon pattern and reminds me of beehives. So I like that. But let's start off with the toe box. The toe box, first of all, this black material is like it's like a textile material, which feels pretty nice. It's actually very nice quality in my personal opinion. And then overlaying that here in the toe box, like on the top, we have like a synthetic material. It feels like a nubuck, like a synthetic nubuck or suede material, but it's very, very thin, right? And it actually conforms to your foot very, very well. But it's just right here. It's just a very small sliver of the toe box. And then encompassing all of that on the lateral and also on the medial side, it also even comes up here into the toe box, is this plastic material. And it's a very soft plastic material. It almost feels like silicone, like a very soft plastic. One thing I don't like about it though is that there's a lot of marks on it. I don't know if it's coming out on camera. There's a lot of like black marks, you know, you can see a lot of scuff marks, and it just doesn't look very good, right? So if you want to keep your shoe clean with the AE1, it's probably not gonna be super easy, but it's actually not that bad. Like feeling it, like here, it's pretty soft actually, you know, it collapses pretty easily but still has very, very good support. So I like that. And also we have a mesh material through these holes, so it's supposed to be good for ventilation, but there's an underlaying material under that, so ventilation isn't that good. Not a whole lot of airflow through this, so it's not the most well ventilated shoe. It's not the coolest shoe ever, but it's not super duper hot, right? But honestly, it feels really nice on foot. You know, I had no problems with it. It wasn't pinching the top of my foot or anything like that. Quality wise, it feels pretty good for the price. So honestly, I'm not mad at the material at all. And then for the tongue, we have very minimal padding, and it's also attached to 2 elastic bands, right, on the lateral and medial side of the shoe. So it kind of keeps the tongue in place, and also because of that elastic band, it kind of like sits on top of your foot, kind of stretches over your foot, giving you a better fit as well. One thing I don't like about the shoe though is the laces. The laces are these round laces, you know, and you have to double knot your shoe. I had to double knot every single time because if I just regularly laced it, it would come undone because, you know, with these thick circular laces, that's usually what happens, right? Also here in the heel, we have a plastic piece. It looks like carbon fiber, you know, through the design. It has the Adidas logo as well, but it's not carbon fiber. It's just a very thick plastic external heel counter. So overall, I did like the materials. Maybe, you know, if you want something super duper minimal, then it's not the best option, but honestly, it doesn't even feel that bulky, right? It's just a little heavy, which we'll get into in weight. So there's that. Moving on to the fit. So I went true to size, and this shoe fits me extremely well. This shoe fits me pretty much like a glove. My toes go very close to the edge of the shoe. It's also very snug here in the toe box as well. And width wise, I would say it's around normal width. It's not super narrow or anything, but it's also not really wide. So it's just a perfect fitting shoe for my foot. So if you want a very nice snug fit, I would suggest going true to size. But just be careful, like I said, because it is very snug. So if you don't like that, then probably go up half a size, right? And if you have a wide foot or you want a very roomy fit, probably go up a full size. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, I mean, I'm good to go. And I feel like most people will be good to go. Adidas has been making very supportive shoes lately, right? So with the Dawn issue 5, Trae Young 3 even is very supportive, right? And the Harden super supportive, and now the AE1, they're making very, very supportive shoes. Not very lightweight, but very supportive, right? So even if you're a bigger dude, you should be fine. For lateral containment, I mean, look at this. You have this, it's literally just a plastic wing, and your foot is not coming out of the footbed at all, right? So you have this whole thing covering you from forefoot, midfoot, and heel, and also you have an external heel counter, right? So my foot did not come out of the footbed, and I feel like even if you're a bigger dude, your foot's not going to be coming out of the footbed. Lateral containment is really, really good. Also, lateral stability is really good. We have a very wide base here in the forefoot, right? You guys can see how much it protrudes out here in the forefoot on the lateral side, and also you're very low to the ground, right? The cushion is really, really thin, so that felt really nice. And as far as ankle support goes, ankle support is pretty good. You know, this material is really thin, so it doesn't restrict ankle movement that much. However, if you do tighten the laces very tightly for the last couple of eyelets, you feel a little something on top of your ankle bone, so that feels a little bit better if you want a little bit of ankle support, right? And also, I didn't really have any issues with heel slippage or anything like that. My foot felt locked into the shoe and it wasn't really going anywhere, right? So support and lockdown was really good for me. All right, now moving on to the weight of the shoe. Yeah, this shoe feels pretty dang heavy, and obviously it looks pretty heavy because it's using a whole lot of plastic, right? So yeah, if I remember correctly, the shoe was like 15 ounces, right? Yeah, 15.6 ounces. That's insane. Let's check the other shoe. Yeah, 15.3 ounces, right? So 15.3 ounces is freaking heavy, guys. So the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. And some of the shoes that I've been playing in recently that I've been testing is like the Zoom GT Cut 3, which is like 10.5 ounces, you know what I mean? So you definitely feel the weight difference, you know, with switching from the GT Cut 3 to the AE1. However, it's a very, very responsive shoe for the AE1, right? So the traction is top tier. You're stopping on a dime. Cushion is very responsive. Low to the ground as well. Court feels really good. Support's great, right? My foot's not moving inside of the shoe at all. So when I'm playing it, I feel really quick. And it also doesn't feel bulky, right? So it reminds me a lot of the Harden Volume 7, but even better, because with the Harden Volume 7, you have, you know, the material is pretty thick. You know, you have that puffiness, especially in the midfoot. You have the caging as well. It kind of bulges out. Feels a little bulky, kinda, right? And also the weight is pretty much the same as the AE1. So but the AE1, like I said, it doesn't feel as bulky because nothing's really protruding out like crazy. This plastic isn't puffy or anything like that, right? So it doesn't feel bulky, but it does feel a little heavy. However, like I said, it's super responsive, so I didn't really mind the weight all too much, right? It wasn't a huge deal. The only time I noticed the weight is when I was switching from a lighter shoe to the AE1 and vice versa. So other than that, not a huge deal for me personally. And honestly, if you like the Harden Volume 7 and you don't really mind the weight there, you will not mind the weight here in the AE1, right? Moving on to the aesthetics, I love it. These shoes aesthetics have grown on me a lot, you know. You guys remember when the leaked images came out and we flamed the shoe? Oh man, the leaks were terrible, but now that I have it in hand, now that I've played in it, now that the official images are out, and now that I've seen them on foot, I love how this shoe looks. This color is great, you know, with this peach color. And also when you wear like black pants with this kind of like black material with this textile, right? It looks like one piece and it looks really, really good. So yeah, I love the aesthetics of the AE1, and some of the other colorways that are coming out looks great as well. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yes, the AE1 is definitely one of my favorite shoes to hoop in, right? And the only thing that I didn't like is the weight. But like I said, it wasn't a huge deal because the shoe is super duper responsive and it's not even that bulky, especially comparing to the Harden Volume 7. So yeah, I feel like most people will enjoy the shoe as well, right? So if you're a guard, you should be fine, right? The only thing, like I said, is if you want a super lightweight shoe, then obviously this isn't going to be the best option. But still, even if you're a guard, you should be fine. It's a very, very responsive shoe. You're going to feel very, very quick playing in this. And also, even if you're a bigger dude, you should be fine. Support is really, really good. Cushion also is really nice. Step-in cover is great. It's probably not the best for cushion if you want a lot of cushion, but I would still say it's adequate enough for bigger dudes as well. So yeah, most play styles, most positions, I feel like will enjoy the AE1, and this is going to be in my rotation heavy, guys. I absolutely love playing in the shoe. So anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the AE1. It's one of the best performers of this year, which is not shocking because this year just started, but like I said, it's a really nice shoe and it's top 5 in my rotation right now. So again, if you guys do want to cop the AE1, I'll try to leave the affiliate link in the description box. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.